not that I don't enjoy seeing Hembo, but they were the Buffalo Braves, and they became the San Diego Clippers with Bill Walton. Then they moved to Los Angeles. They've still never won a championship, but they feel close because they have an owner everybody wants to play for. They have a coach everybody wants to play for, and they might just have this man, Jalen. The biggest storyline of the upcoming season is where KD will land, and while everyone in New York thinks it is a fait accompli that KD is coming to the Knicks, another team has emerged as a distinct possibility. The Clippers have 2 max spots available. They have an attractive ownership situation. Why are you looking at me like that? You don't believe the Clippers are going to get superstar players?
Well, I don't believe a couple of things. One, that the Clippers will ever be the team in Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. Okay, there are a lot of people going around here saying that they might be.
They get Kawhi and KD, they're not the team in Los Angeles?
For right now, they might be.
They win a championship?
But here's the other thing. It's just fascinating to me how we keep going from team to team with KD, and he plays on the best team in the league. It just really baffles me.
Do you think he's staying there?
And I think he's leaving.
It baffles you because it's a different day and age with the players. As you understand, Jalen, there's a time where you were in Indiana, you tried to get it done in Indiana because of the culture there. It wasn't about just you and saying, hey, I'm leaving because of this. You have players today, now it's just like AAU basketball. They go to Las Vegas with a certain team, but they finish in Vegas with a different team. So it's just something that just continues to happen, not just at the AAU level, but now in the NBA.
And I'm going to sort of spin this to a different place here, but I think this is an interesting point to make. You won all these championships on these San Antonio teams that never had this. And people always talk about the ego-less nature, and there is certainly a truth to that. But there's also another piece of this. There was never any question whose team that was, right? That was Tim Duncan's team, and you guys, as great as Manu Ginobili was, as great as Tony Parker was, and the other guys you had, that was Tim Duncan's team. In Golden State, they don't have that. Kevin Durant joined another person's team, and I think that dynamic continues to hover over it, and that is the reason ultimately it doesn't last.
I think the team is Steph Curry's team, even though Kevin Durant came and joined on board, made him feel welcome.
Right.
And that's what great players do as far as what Tim Duncan was able to do. He was able to welcome someone. So, KD being there, it's a welcome for him to be there.
But doesn't that explain, Jalen, and I think that's the point, why KD would leave a situation that otherwise seems so good, is that he's the best player on someone else's team.
But here's what always ends up happening in professional sports. A guy like KD thinks that going to Golden State and winning a championship is going to solve all of his issues publicly. And then you realize winning 2 championships, winning 2 finals MVPs, people are still going to throw shade for joining the Golden State Warriors. This is why when you see great players like Kobe Bryant, he won 3 championships with Shaq. He loved the ones that he won without him. Shaq won 3 with Kobe. He loved the one that he won without him a lot more, probably. And that's what ends up happening when you see these great players play out like this.
Because it goes back to who you are. Everybody's always going to go back to who you are as far as what you did. And unfortunately, no matter what KD accomplishes, it's always going to be, but you left. You left.
Here's the problem with that, and this is would take it to a deeper psychological place, and I don't want to go there for too long a period of time. But at the end of the day, happiness is not something that you find that way. Happiness is not something that you find on your way to some other goal. Happiness is a goal unto itself. It is, in fact, the only one worth pursuing. And so I don't think that he's going to find happiness someplace else, because people, if you're looking for people to just give you unanimous adulation, that doesn't happen no matter what you do, no matter where you do it. And unless you are able to just hold it at arm's length and say, I don't give a damn what these people say, I'm happy, I'm winning, and that's all that matters, it doesn't make any difference where KD plays.
I agree, but I'm 46 years old, so a level of maturity has to happen. A level of life experience has to happen for some guys to get to that point. You can clearly tell that it bothers him what people say, because it plays out on social media.
But you're comfortable with self. And until he finds that comfort, that's when it'll happen for him.
I think we're all sort of making the same point at the same time, but what does it add up to? It probably adds up to Kevin Durant in a different uniform next year. Wow. Laura Rutledge, pick it up from there.
I was just going to say this real quick, Greeny, on this one. What made me happy at 25 was different than what made me happy at 29.
Oh, yeah.
Which is different than what made me happy at 35. So it changes throughout the course of time.
Also, you're not Laura Rutledge, but you are Jay Will, and that is Seth Greenberg. And let's carry on right here, because I do want to get to the real viability of KD going to the Clippers. You, of course, host the boardrooms. You're with these guys. Steve Ballmer also part of that whole thing. You've seen those two interact. What have you picked up from those interactions?
Look, Ballmer is an incredible guy. Him and KD have a good relationship. I don't know to what extent their relationship is, but that day I saw them together, it was great. It was natural. And you got to think about it. It's a viable option, team-wise, personnel-wise, coach-wise with Doc. Also, they're not the same team. They're not competing against the Los Angeles Lakers anymore.
Yeah.
Like, this team also is going to have their all-new brand facility out in Inglewood, where they're doing that with the football team as well as the LA Rams, right? So it's a different environment, a different kind of feel. I think from a business perspective as well, that's all intriguing pieces.
You know I love causes, right?
Yes, you do.
I mean, I love coaches, players love to create causes. Let me ask you, Kevin Durant, what we know of him and how he works. Right? What would be better than Kevin Durant going to the Clippers and then beating the Warriors? What would be better than that? Say like, hey, you guys said that you can't win. You don't need me to win. That's fine. I'm going to the Clippers and I'm kicking your tail.
Okay, so how do they kick the Warriors' tail? Who all would they have to get to actually be that competitive to beat the Warriors?
They get Kawhi and KD,
and they're good. That's enough.
You keep Patrick Beverly. You keep some other pieces. I mean, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and they have young pieces on that team that they're built for the long term. And by the way, you have Jerry West. You have Jerry West leading your helm. That's a different scenario of the personnel as far as management as well.
Well, and I think when you talk about recruiting in the NBA right now, and everybody talks about, LeBron's over there recruiting players, are recruiting each other and all that, but coaching does matter here, at least for a few coaches, the select few, and Doc Rivers, you would put him in that category. But one other thing too, guys, it seems like we were talking about the Knicks, and maybe we still are, but that seems to have fallen off a little bit here as far as KD, Kawhi, whoever else may go there. Why is that? Or maybe were they never really as viable an option as we thought?
I think all these are options. I mean, I also think an option that nobody talks about is Golden State. You have Steve Kerr, who's right there. I know everybody loves to think about all these different hypothetical scenarios, but when you're playing on the best team on the planet right now and they're still showing you that they can still win games, granted they beat the Portland Trail Blazers, we'll see if they can beat Toronto or Milwaukee. But so that's Steve Kerr's an incredible coach.
And Draymond came up with a good thing. He said, we need, like Draymond, just for him to come out and say, you know what, for us to win championship, we need KD.
They're unbeatable with that with Kevin Durant.
Right, and they have, of course, been quite obvious about their recruiting of KD here over the last few weeks, too. Every time they get in the media, they talk about how important KD is. It's going to be fascinating to see how all of this works out. Also, this is the WNBA's 23rd